Good morning, everyone, and welcome to CANTO Conversations. My name is Teresa Wankin, and I'm the Secretary General of CANTO. I'm your moderator this morning. Our guest speakers are Ms. Emily Saunders, Head of Business Development in the Americas, and Ms. Usha Mongol, Business Analyst from NAS Technologies. These ladies will be speaking on digitalization and mobilization in the modern telco. Emily is passionate about helping telcos transform their operations through digitalization, mobilization, and automation. She ensures that telcos are empowered with the right products and services to efficiently and effectively manage their networks and field operations. And Usha is also passionate about analyzing processes and turning them into digitalized, automated solutions to increase customer satisfaction. She continuously measures the impact of innovation in the product and service delivery and monitors the customer satisfaction ratios of the company. Emily and Usha, welcome to CANTO Conversation. Just to go over some quick housekeeping notes, remember to mute your microphones and post your questions in the chat. Emily and Usha will share a short presentation with us, and then we will have an opportunity to ask questions at the end. So Emily, it's my pleasure to hand over to you this morning.
Thank you, Teresa. Thank you so much for the lovely welcome. Okay, so I'll just jump straight in. If I could please get permission to share my screen. Let's make sure that comes up. We'll get rid of this on the corner. Okay, is everybody able to see my screen? Hello?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, excellent. So just a quick introduction to today's webinar. We are going to be talking about the importance of digitalization and mobilization, especially in the modern telcos, you know, some of the trends that we're seeing perhaps post COVID. And I like to call this the who, what, where, when, and why, and how. So just a quick run through as to what digitalization and mobilization means to us in NASTech. It's a lot of frustration. It's a big topic in the industry, and I think it's important to just align on what it is that we aim to do. Why is it important? Who does it benefit, and what value do you actually see from it? Where do we go from here, and how we at NASTech can actually support digital transformation with you as our client, what we can actually do to help you get on that digital transformation journey. After that, Usha is just going to give you a little introduction to our product line and just show you a little bit about what we do live. So hold on for that, because that really will be the exciting part of this. So I think today the most important message that I really want to get across is that, you know, change is the only constant, and we've heard it so many times. It's well known, it's well established. But what I think is really important is what Benjamin Franklin said about change. And the most important thing about change is that change is the only constant, but it's how you adapt to those changes that actually determines your success in life. Telcos these days, more than ever, are expected to change quickly, they're expected to be agile, and they're expected all the time to respond rapidly to changes in the environment. And if the last year has taught us anything, it's that, yes, there are a few changes that we can predict. 5G rollouts becoming more and more ever present, increasing competition, things like that. But also changes that we can't predict. COVID, for example, has been a huge driver of transformation. And what we see in the market is that actually it's those who are embracing digitalization, those who are welcoming change into their organization, they are the ones who have actually been more agile and more able to respond to shifting changes in the industry. More than ever, we have learned that now is a crucial time for creative thinking. It's a time for resolute action and adaptability. Most of all, to ensure that your operations don't come to a halt and your customers aren't left without service. As I mentioned, digital transformation, it's a huge topic. Everywhere you look, people are talking about digitalization in pretty much every industry. And lots of companies are doing that by looking towards digital services. They're looking to actually improve the digital experience of their customers. But in doing so, they're often neglecting their own internal processes and their own operations. At Nastec, we believe that, businesses that really want to make changes to their organizations, they should be focusing on the 3 pillars of digital transformation. And for us, that is digitalization, mobilization, and automation. And I'm going to warn you now to please get used to me saying those words, because you're going to hear them a lot in this webinar. When we talk about digitalization, we talk about simplifying business processes and actually bringing everything digital, making all those complicated, convoluted, traditionally paper-based processes and putting them online so that you can access them in real time and actually keep up to date with what's happening in your operations and your network. When we talk about mobilization, we're talking about making data available on demand from any device, anywhere, at any time. And of course, automation. We talk about using the latest technology to actually reduce the amount of human intervention and streamline your processes. But how does this speak to the issues of you as a telco? Like, what does this really mean to you, and how does it help? Well, the simple answer is that digital transformation will affect your entire organization. The entire organization will be affected by digital transformation. Your processes, your customers, your workforce, and your network. When we look at a lot of our customers and we look at a lot of those non-digitally embracive environments, we see that current processes are often disconnected and they're manual and they're slow. When we talk about that in the reality and what that means, that often means that people are slow in responding to faults, leading to unexpected downtime, unnecessary amounts of downtime. People aren't able to actually act on those faults effectively, efficiently, quickly. Your SLAs become impacted, and in turn, your customers become frustrated. They want service. They want quick service. And it's unfortunate that it's the world that we live in now, that everyone wants everything today. But we can extend that even further, that people become frustrated when we want to schedule an installation, for example, and that can take a week or 2 weeks, and it leads to a poor customer experiences. The workforce is frustrated because they're weighed down by paper processes. They have to travel to and from the office in order to collect their work, in order to report on their work. And managers are frustrated because they're sat in the office unable to see what's actually happening on site. And your network is strained. Your network is strained because it's siloed, and actually identifying the issues and collecting information to help resolve those issues in the future is near impossible. But by embracing digital transformation, you can actually simplify the management of your operations and more quickly deliver operational and financial benefits. You can become more efficient and productive by automating processes and actually having end-to-end workflows that reduce time spent on tasks. You can track your workforce and receive real-time updates from the field with strong validation and quality assurance features, such as media reports. You can have photos attached to your report so your managers can actually see what is happening on site in real time. Your teams can manage their workload straight from the palm of their hands and have on-demand access to all the data they need, no matter where they are. And you can integrate all your solutions into a single source of truth with a solution that is designed for you and to tackle your pain points. And what does this mean in the future? Why is it important that we set this up now? Well, the truth is that central to all digitally transformed telcos is a consistent approach to the collection, analysis, and distribution of data that is collected from multiple sources. We hear from so many of our clients that they have all this data, they have all this information that they can access, but there's nothing they can do with it. But the truth is that a lot of these operators, a lot of these telcos, a lot of these clients who are very similar to yourselves, they've put themselves in a really strong position for the future. They're able to now embrace the next stage of telecommunications, and that's going to be the age of artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence is coming. It's already a reality in a lot of telcos, and those who are more proactively embracing AI, they're going to take the industry by storm. But a lot of this is overwhelming, and it's difficult to embark on your own digital transformation journey when you often don't know where to start. And that's where we come in. We're actually industry specialists. We provide automation, digitalization, and mobilization software solutions, along with expert consultancy services and support, exclusively for telcos. And we've been doing this for decades. We're present in more than 15 countries, and we are well versed in delivering complex telecommunication solutions. We offer both custom modules so that clients are able to design and build from scratch the ideal solution, or we offer some off-the-shelf functionality with some of the more basic modules that you may need. And we offer all the key features that you need. That includes a mobile app, that includes a vendor agnostic solution that's able to integrate with any of the existing solutions that you may have, any of the existing vendors that you may have, and we're able to do all of that. And what sits on top of all of this data collection, what sits on top of all of the modules and all of the products that we offer is very comprehensive visual reporting and dashboards so that you're actually able to make better decisions to manage your network. Our product lines are tailored to each of the environments that we cater to. We actually decided to break it down into the segments because of how specialized each of them are. So we offer 4 products at the moment. We have Streamline Mobile, which is for that really traditional operator space, for those MNOs and those really looking to start their digital transformation journey. We have Fiber Network Manager, which was actually our sister product to Streamline Mobile. And it's very similar. There's a lot of overlap in the two, but it includes a lot more visual modules so that you can actually plan and operate your fiber network. We then have Streamline Tower Co. This was released last year, and with RAN sharing becoming more and more prominent and that industry picking up so much over the last year, we decided that it was time to launch our Tower Co product, which includes some more modules about prospecting, marketing, sales, but also managing your tower network. And then separate from those 3, we have our AI product, which it actually connects to your existing OS boxes to provide you with real-time insights, actionable insights, so that you can more proactively manage your network. I just want to give you a look at some of the key modules. You'll see as we're discussing that it's a very comprehensive solution. Each of the product lines can have up to 20 modules off the shelf. And as I said, we are actually able to build custom modules for any more complex workflows that may exist. There are a couple that are kind of common to all of them. For example, workforce management, contractor management. They're quite common, and they tend to be the most popular, as it's basically just those general features of being able to put everybody online and manage your resources from your mobile device. It is modular, so our clients are able to pick and pay for what they feel would provide them with maximum return. Usually it's 2 or 3 modules that work well together. We see quite often it's an installation management, workforce, contractor management, and perhaps some asset management just to manage those kind of assets that are actually being installed. Or it can be standalone. And it can actually, we have BSS and OSS mobilization features that can actually be used to mobilize existing solutions that you may have and actually bridge any gaps where you don't have a mobile solution available, such as Remedy or Connect Master or something like that. So I just want to break it down further and then give you a bit more detail regarding the modules that are actually found within each of the product lines. So there's a quick snapshot of Streamline Mobile. What it really focuses on is collapsing and simplifying those really paper-orientated and heavy processes, you know, your site acceptance, those kind of things, and making them much more simple and easy to manage by placing them all in the palm of the hands of your technicians. The solution is fully integrated so that all of these modules actually work together, making it easy for you to build end-to-end workflows and actually have a solution that is fully automated. There's a couple of these benefits and case studies actually on our website, so you can have a look if you do have a little bit of time. But I just wanted to give you a little bit of insight into what kind of returns our customers usually see. We have one client, one operator, who actually was able to reduce their OPEX spends by $1 million over 2 years by using Streamline Mobile. And the way that they did this was basically every day the staff would go to the office, they would collect their work, they would then drive to site, complete the site reports, and then they would go back to the office to then submit those reports. Obviously, with the amount of work that technicians have, that amounts to a lot of overtime. And so what we did by actually making their processes digital and making everything available on the mobile device, all the technicians were able to report on the work as they were doing the work. And as a consequence, productivity was hugely increased and they were able to reduce the amount of overtime that was actually being charged. Over a 2-year period, that equated to $1 million. Streamline Fiber, as I mentioned, it is our sister product to Streamline Mobile. It expands that initial product offering, so you are able to select some of the features from Streamline Mobile and actually use it in Streamline Fiber. But it does include some more visual features so that you can actually plan your network online. You can actually, you know, search for your capacity, things like that. Usha will actually give you a little bit more of insight into what it looks like and what you can expect to see from your fiber assets and your CPE devices. So Streamline Fiber, some of the benefits as well, again, on our website, so please feel free to go check out our case studies. But for example, when we talk about CPE devices, we've had a fiber provider who was actually able to recover about $500,000 worth of assets. And this is because on decommissioning of customer equipment, of CPEs, there was no management of those assets. And because there was no management of those assets, it was very common that those assets disappeared and they were unable to be found. By actually scanning the barcodes, by actually keeping record and putting processes in place that needed to be followed in order to complete your daily work with full visibility, we were able to recover about $500,000 simply because someone was watching. Streamline Tower Co. So this is our latest offering. And as I said, it does include some of your sales and marketing so that you can actually manage your prospects, actually identify areas where you perhaps want to build new towers, do site surveys, things like that. You can obviously put all of your tenant agreements and manage all of your contracts and your billing as well in one place. And this can integrate fully with your existing billing solution so that can all be an end-to-end and fully optimized process. Some of the benefits, just being able to have better management of your sales process, having better visibility of your sales process, and obviously monetize them much better because now there's processes in place for your follow-ups and things like that. And actually getting to revenue faster and better monetizing your towers. So those are like the real core of Streamline. And then when we talk about the next phase, when we talk about AI, we then have our Streamline AI offering. So the best thing about it is that it works standalone. It does work with Streamline, but also if you don't have Streamline, it's not a problem. We're able to connect with any existing vendors that you may have. So that can be your OSS and your alarm feeds, your trouble ticketing, things like that. We bring all of that data into our AI engine. And the AI engine actually studies your network. It's individual to you and it's personal to you. And the longer the system runs, the more accurate it becomes, the better it learns your network. After an initial training phase of about 10 days, it will actually start to give you some predictions, some insights, and some network trends that perhaps aren't visible to you. And then through a feedback loop, the AI actually improves its algorithm. It actually becomes better and it tunes our parameters. So quite often what we see, and all of that is an automated process. It's all automatic. So what we usually see is that when we first put in the data and after the initial learning phase, the accuracy is about 10%, about 60%. After 3 months of learning your data and actually working with your data and understanding your data, we can see that rise quite quickly to about 90%. So it's a highly accurate tool that enables you to more proactively manage your network because you're using all that data that already exists in your network and leveraging it to actually better understand your network. We do have a number of off-the-shelf use cases. We develop use cases all the time, new use cases for our clients. Perhaps they have some ideas, some particular pain points, and we work with our customers to actually develop those. But there are a number that are off the shelves, and just to give you perhaps a little bit of insight into them. We've got predictive maintenance, and when we talk about predictive maintenance, we're talking about moving away from that very traditional preventative maintenance where you go to your site, you have 50 sites and you need to visit them all in a month, and they all need to be maintained in a month. This is a much more intelligent approach in that the AI engine will actually learn which of your sites are more at risk, and it will optimize your schedule so you visit that site more often. Therefore, the less vulnerable sites get visit less frequently. And it's a way to just maximize your asset life and ensure that everything is only maintained as it needs to be before an outage occurs. It gets rid of that, it kind of reduces that reactive maintenance approach. Predictive maintenance, we've seen can kind of reduce unnecessary site visits by about 27%, because it's actually much more able to proactively manage your assets. We also have our root cause analysis use case where it can take so long to actually identify what the root cause of an outage is. But this is actually able to quickly scan your outage and identify what the root cause, taking that process from days, weeks to just a couple of minutes so that you can quickly go and restore service and to your customers. Right, for me, I think that is everything. From here, I would really like to hand over to Usha, because I think this is as interesting as it is to hear me talk about it. I think it's much more interesting to see it in action. So I'm just going to hand over to Usha, who will just walk you through a few of the modules.
Yes, thank you, Emily.
Go on, Usha.
Okay, thanks. Okay, so Emily would have gone through with you guys, the general idea of what NASDAQ offers. What we're going to do now is we're going to show you all some of the modules that we have that are already built, that would have been customized, such as the installation management module, our project management module, and quite a few others that we would like to fit into this slot. So let me start by sharing my screen. And what I would like to start off with today is one that most people are very interested in, which is actually our installation management module. our installation management module right now is really used to manage installations for WTTX customers. And what happens with that, these customers are actually raised via orders. So we have orders that are raised from an integration with the Ericsson order care system, and that is actually sent to Streamline on a real-time basis. And when that is done, the order is populated here on Streamline, and from that point, the CSR will then take that order and assign it to someone, let's say a technician, or someone else that needs to work on this order. And that is actually the start of the process for this order to actually be completed to give the customer the service that they are requesting. So what I have here is actually an order that would have been raised prior to our demo so that we can show you the actual flow. So here you can see this is an order with the customer details, the general order information, and the part that we're going to look into right now is the dispatcher and technician. What this does, we are assigning this order to some technicians so that they can actually go in on their mobile app, do what is necessary, and complete this installation for a customer. So how do we do this, you may say? I simply select my, let's say our dispatcher, which is also customizable. All the fields, everything that you see here is actually customizable to the point where all the fields, the form, everything itself is actually customizable. So let's select our dispatcher and the technician. And once this is done and this is actually updated, it's a matter of simply going to the mobile app that the technician will always have access to, where they can simply go in, check for their orders. And once they check for their orders, they will be able to complete this order and proceed with anything that is necessary for the order completion. So I'm just booting up my mobile app here so that you can see it on my PC screen. Okay, so here you can see this is my mobile app. What we would have done just now is assigned me an order as a technician, which is this first order that you see here, Usha Mangal, and the current status is work in progress. What that means is that the technician now has to continue and move forward to complete this order. So let's just follow these steps. These are predefined steps that would have been, let's say, decided upon on our business requirements stages. So all of this again is customizable. Emily would have talked at length about our customization ability. This is just one example of it. You'll see more to come in the rest of my demo. So let's take a look at some of the fields here. So the technician would have just clicked arrive, meaning that they have arrived at the customer's location. What they need to do now is simply enter the information that is required to complete this install, such as the SIM pack number, their CPE device, and other related information. So let's take a look at the SIM pack number. Now they usually have this information at the back of a modem. What we have is a handy scanning functionality that will actually scan the barcode for the technician. So this actually scans the barcode, which limits manual entry for the technician and errors. Once they scan their SIM pack number, they can now go down to the CPE device, enter the CPE ESN number, which can be done in the same way by scanning that number automatically and updating. Once they are finished there, they now proceed to the next step, which is actually, as I would have mentioned, this particular solution is integrated with an Ericsson platform. And when the technician clicks scan, what we do as Streamline, send a request to them, and they will now confirm whether this customer can proceed and send us back a message saying that yes or no. And based on that, the technician can then proceed and go forward. So let's take a look at the next steps. So once the app receives that information saying that, everything is okay, you may proceed, the technician can now go forward to the next part of the installation, which is really to test the equipment and do their customer satisfaction survey and also their installation checklist, which entails a lot of photos so that they can prove that the installation was actually completed. So I seem to be having, right, okay. So let's go back now to our EOC order listing. And here we have another order, which is in test equipment stage, which takes us to the other part because this is a simulator I'm using. So I do not have the direct connection at this point. So I'm moving over to another order. So once this message is received from the Ericsson order platform. What happens now is that the technician either tests the equipment, it's either working or not working. If it's working, they click on their service working button, which I just did, and they proceed to complete the rest of the installation. And what this is really that they need to show what they've done at the customer's location. So this also ensures that your contractors are doing what they're supposed to do to have the installation at top level so that the customer always has their service. So what we do now is we simply fill out all the mandatory fields, such as CPE serial number. We may need to take some pictures of the CPE nameplate, the CPE front lights, which is normally, for the CPE to show that the connection is active and working. So I'm just taking a few pictures to show you here how quickly it's done. And you can see now that all of the information was entered. And once the technician is finished and he's entered all of this, he simply enters the remaining information, such as the building type, the location of CPE, the length of the Cat5 cable, the amount of clips that were used. And once he is finished, he clicks the finish button, and this now takes him to the last step, which is where the customer needs to say that, this installation was good, I am fine with it, everything is working. So this is a digitalized customer satisfaction form that also supports customer signature. So just for the purpose of the demo, I'm going to select quite a few. So each question has some answers that are predefined, which are like multiple choice really. So they select, are you satisfied with the service? The technician clean up after the installation, the first name of the customer, last name of the customer, that's actually signing, and then the customer signature, which is done by the customer. They simply use their finger, sign, and once they're finished, the customer or the technician click submit. And once they're finished, the last step is to click completed, and this will now mark the order as completed, meaning that the technician has actually completed this order and it's finished. So let's take a look now back at the portal. You can now see that we have the other orders. You can now see that we have the order here. And at this point, you can see the order has been updated also on the portal. And that actually concludes the part for the installation management module. As I am on this part, what I would just like to show from my mobile app is how we can also digitalize your alarm systems. So what we actually have here is, now you may have different systems like U2000 or whatever you may have that, collects all of your alarms for your knock people to see what's going on. We can also have these alarms available on the mobile app for the same people, whether they are in office or outside of office working from home, which we know that is the norm right now. They can actually easily see all of the alarms on their mobile app, and they can even create tickets directly from it. And all of that is actually supported by our mobile app and our portal configurations. So we've taken you through our installation management module. What I would like to show you all now is our project management module. Our project management module. Our project management module actually is a module that easily tells you how you can manage your projects and how basically all of the steps that you will need to manage your project, this module can help you. What we have are predefined milestones that are automatically created for your fiber, your 5G, your WTTX, whatever type of projects you may have. We can help you build that. We can help you build a customized solution to actually have that digitalized and a proper flow on Streamline such that you can follow everything and have things auto-populated, auto-created for the, let's say, the less time being spent in project management, right? So you can actually have the work being done. So let's take a look at the project management module now. Here we have a listing of all of the projects right now in, let's say, our demo platform. All we have to do to start off is create a new project and follow the predefined steps that would have been customized for this particular project management module. So let's say demo project, create. And what this does, this creates this project for us. And when this project is created, we can now proceed to the next step. What is our next step? if you take a look to the bottom here, we have different tasks that would have been auto-populated for us based on the templates and what would have been created before, such as initial planning, design, and site survey, BOQ planning, approve initial planning. So let's take a step and go into the initial planning stage by clicking on the initial planning option here. What this does, this will update our information to take us through the initial planning ready stage. So now you can see additional items has actually been added here for us. What happens now? We can now look at the site survey, design, and implementation BOQ. So let's take a look at design. Here we have initial design. All we need to do is click on this to actually update our initial design. As you can see, there's a map that would have been displayed here. What we can do if you already have what your project is going to entail, let's say for a fiber rollout, you can easily upload a KMZ file and this will actually auto-populate in the map view. Let me show you how we do that. You can easily attach a KMZ file, choose KMZ file to upload. Here you would see the file. Once I click on it, we just simply need to process this file. And now it says this is actually processed and uploaded. And you can see on the map, you can easily tell that this has been uploaded and we didn't have to create it. You can also, if you would like to, you can create new points and make new connections if you would like directly in this map. It shows you all of the free points or any free lines that is available. So let's now click update. Okay, so let's take a look at our implementation BOQ, which would be populated once we select the status as completed. Now, once we are finished there,
need to click update.
Yeah. Right, so once we click update here now, our BOQ would be actually populated automatically for us. Right, so here you can see this would have generated our BOQ for us. What we can do from this point, we can actually add to this. So this would have been predefined for us based on the templates and all of that that would have been set up before. Once we click on new, what this does, it will take me to create a new BOQ item. So let's select any particular item that you may want to add. Unit of measure, what is the planned quantity, if there's any remarks that you would like to put in for this particular bill of quantity item, and you click create. What this will do now, this will actually take us back to the project. And if we go down and you look at the implementation BOQ, you will see there'd be a new item added and it actually says that this is additional. Okay, so our next step is to actually say that the initial planning is ready. And if we jump back to the task list, you would see that all of these here are still in status new. Our design has been completed. We've added a new implementation BOQ. So let's click initial planning ready. Now let's go to our design section. And if you need to review, you can do that for the purpose of the demo. I will simply change this to approve so that we can now say that the initial design has been approved and we can move on to the next step. So let's take a look here. And you can now see that our task list has been updated with these automatically changed to completed because we have set our initial design to approved and we've also added information to our implementation BOQ. Now, what do we need to do now? At this point, according to the process, the contractor now needs to do the perform doc verifications. As you can see here, the responsible group is contractors and the responsible engineer is James McInnes. So what we need to do is now go back to the mobile app and do this duct verification so that you can see that it's completed on the mobile app. So let's go back to our mobile app. And you can see here, I'm already logged in as a contractor. And all I need to do is look for our project that we would have had just now. And once we find that project, we can now see, you can now see that this perform duct verification is actually there for us to do with the start date and the person that's assigned. You can see certain fields would have already been auto-populated. You have the work done days. This is to say how much time was spent on this particular task. And in order for this to be completed, we just need to say a project daily activity to create one. So I'm saying today's date. It gives you an auto-populated message for the details of activity/remarks. If you want, it's easy to edit. You can remove or change, and you click update. And once you're finished, at that point, the contractor now simply states that he has completed this step. And now that he's completed this step, if we go back to the portal, as I'm already here, we just look for the project. Let's go back to all projects. And now you can see the performed duct verifications has actually been completed, and now we can move forward. So all of the other tasks here are very similar to what we would have done so far, such as the site diary, final design, and design BOQ approval. So for the purpose of the demo, I'll stop here for the project management module, because you've seen the general idea and gist of how it works and how it can work for your company. What I'm going to move on now is some capacity planning for our fiber module, where you can see how, if you need to expand your capacity on the network and you're using Streamline, how you can actually use our capacity planning module to move forward. So here we have our capacity planning module on our fiber section. What you can do here, you can easily do searching by either keywords or by a path if you would like to see where you have available capacity. So let's take a look at the keyword search. Let's say we want to see where there's any available area where the keyword is Dorset. Once you click search, what this will do, this will search your entire network that's mapped out here, and it will show you where there is capacity with that particular keyword. And you can see, sorry, that's just my mobile app. Yeah. What you can see here is that it gives you all of the available space or capacity for any of these items where the keyword is Dorset. It could tell you via the legend here. You can also see what matches all the filters, what matches some filters, and doesn't match any. As you scroll through on the list here, it actually highlights it in the map for you, so you can have easy visibility of what is actually there. You can also do a path search by doing coordinates. So let's say I want to look from this point to this point, and I want to see what is available there. Let's click search. And what this does, this finds all of the areas for you, all of the new paths for you, and it actually sorts the best to the least best solution. So here you can see it has point A to point B. It tells you how many hubs, the capacity, and the amount of cores. And as you scroll, just like you would have seen before, it does highlight in the map for you to see how this works. Okay. So now we would have done the capacity planning for fiber management. Now, what we would like to show you is the case where you may have live monitoring of a customer's network. What we have here is actually a map that shows the fiber network and how it is connected. We can actually do a simulation to show you when there's a break, what happens on this map here. So right now you can see everything is up and running. I will have one of our colleagues actually simulate a break on the fiber network so that you can see what happens here. So let's refresh. And you can see here now that that simulation was done. And now certain points are actually in red, well, yellow and red, so that indicates that there's a problem and it has not been fixed as yet. What happens is that you can see here all of the points, and also a new trouble ticket is automatically generated for this particular item. So let's take a look. So our trouble ticket is opening at this point. It's currently in status open. You will see as we progress this ticket and it goes to status resolved, you will see that the map will then be updated back to green once the issue has been resolved. So what we need to do in order to resolve this, we need to select our fault type, just a simple description, and click resolve. And what this will do, this will change the trouble ticket to resolve status. And the next point is when we go back to our map, you will see that it would have been changed from the yellow and red back to green, indicating that everything is now okay. All right. So our next point is really our predictive maintenance. Emily?
Preventative maintenance, yeah.
Preventative.
So I'm just going to hand back, and I think we'll finish there because I am mindful of the time. We can show the AI as well, but I think for anyone that's interested in the AI, you can, it's such a big topic, and it's, I need you to finish sharing, please, Usha. It's such a big topic, but I do just want to show you perhaps an example of a customer's preventative maintenance and actually how that looks on Streamline. So this is actually a live client portal. I try not to mess with them too much, simply because obviously the workflows and everything like that are quite sensitive, and they're there. So this is all the preventive maintenance jobs for a particular client, and you can see that they have over 20,000 records here. So they really do rely on our solution to actually provide that for them. And this is just an example of how you can actually collapse all those heavy processes like preventative maintenance, the ones that have particular steps that need to be followed, that need to be adhered to. And we can just search and find the records for perhaps a certain site. You can see there's 9 records relating to that site. And if we open one of those records, this is what one of those reports would actually look like. We've given you an idea of how it actually works, but this was actually submitted by a technician from the mobile. And you can see that it actually shows you where the user was, when he submitted it, and where the site actually was. And it captures all that detail and includes some really nice validation features like pictures actually from the site. I love it. It's like a Facebook page. You can see what time it was captured, who captured it, and it's broken down into then each of the areas that need to be maintained and need to be checked. So we can open the tower checklist. And this is actually what the technician would see on his mobile device. It obviously details each of the areas that need to be checked and what actions actually need to be performed. You can see we can use text box, we can use drop downs, anything like that. And you can actually also store any trouble tickets related to the site under there, and actually maintain a full history of the site. So you can see that every time these records are being changed, updated, moved, anything like that, you're actually able to get a full snapshot of what's going on in your site. And this is cool because it's submitted from a technician while he's on site, and I'm in the office, and these photos, it feels like you're there. And just the last thing, obviously, that we need to show as well is just the reporting that comes on top of that. We can build dashboards, we can build various views so that you can actually track, planned versus actual work. We can put it on maps so you can actually see where you're having a high amount of outages, things like that. These are downloadable into various forms, and you are able to actually filter on these as you wish. They are completely customizable to your business requirements. We did have something on the AI, but I am aware that we have 10 minutes left. So if anyone would like to discuss the AI a little bit further, please feel free to contact me. I'm sure that Teresa will be sharing contact details. And yeah, thank you so much for your
Thank you, everyone. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Emily. Emily, I want you to talk maybe just about 2 minutes about the AI, especially the preventative maintenance part of it. You don't have to go into details, but just to give viewers an understanding of the potential of that module to help a network.
Yeah, so it stands alone on its own, and there is a little bit that you need to use Streamline, just a tiny amount for the interface in terms of the outputs that are coming. But actually, you know what, Usha, can you just flash the screen just to show you? Like, we do have a whole flow because we have a number of plugins that actually already exist. So you're able to actually just go to the prediction screen. So for the predictive maintenance, the way it works is that it will actually give you a list that looks very similar to this. It will have studied your data. It will have learned from the data that actually already exists in your network. So those can be your Huawei boxes, your ZTE boxes. It brings in all your alarms, all your fiber monitoring equipment, and it studies all of that. And then it will actually optimize your schedule so that you can go and visit those, and it will actually adjust your schedule. So if you're using a different workforce management solution, we can actually integrate with that to automatically optimize your preventative maintenance schedule so that it becomes much more efficient. There are a number of other use cases, including power prediction. So a lot of the people that we work with, they have power outages very often on site, and obviously that can be devastating and costly. So we see that you can actually predict when there's going to be outages, and we can take data sources as well, like perhaps schedules or weather, things like that may also contribute to power outages, and the AI will actually generate predictions to say there's going to be a power outage on this site or by this piece of equipment. You need to go and actually work on it and put some preventative maintenance remedies in place.
Okay. All right, great. So we have a couple questions that we want to get through, but I had to have that AI module discussed. So first off the bat, Emily, could you tell us, is this something that you can implement one module at a time, or is it something that you have to implement across the board?
Absolutely not. So we absolutely offer each of our customers that they are able to pick which modules are most beneficial to them so that they can actually benefit from maximum return on their investment. So you can start with one module, perhaps the preventative maintenance, for example, perhaps your installations, a ticketing system, something like that. And then you can build it up one by one. It's entirely up to you how you wish to approach it.
Okay, great. And this looks pretty expensive. What does the pricing model look like, especially for small and medium-sized companies?
It's a very sophisticated solution, and that is something that we hear quite often. You know, lots of people are often, they see how robust it is and how comprehensive it is, and they get a bit overwhelmed that the pricing may be similar to that, and you know, they start thinking about the IBMs, those kind of things. But we're very competitive in our pricing. We keep our costs low so that we can actually keep the cost low to you, and we usually find that we're several times cheaper than a lot of our competitors to a lot of the comparable systems, which really amazes a lot of our customers. And at the same time, because of the design of the platform as a low-code platform, we're actually able to build something more personalized. But all our pricing is individual, and if there were something that someone wanted to discuss as well, please feel free to reach out to me, and we can design a solution that fits not only within your budget, but also that is designed for you.
Okay, so I have one more question for you, and then I will go on to Usha. But you mentioned early in your presentation that a use case where a company, a telco, was able to save $1 million in a 2-year period. Can you share a little bit of what module they started with, or if it's the entire solution they took from you all?
So it was actually about preventative maintenance and actually doing site visits. And the issue with that is that when they had site visits, they had to go to site and they had to go to the office first thing, which we know these days as well isn't as possible as it used to be with COVID and things like that. They would then go collect their work, find their work schedule, go to site, fill in all their reports, and then have to take it all back to site. And that's a lot of driving when you're maintaining, 3 to 5 sites a day, and you have various activities, bits of equipment being forgotten. So it racks up huge overtime costs, and we were able to bring that down to cost of $1 million in 2 years.
Excellent. And Usha, from your perspective, being an analyst and everything, dealing with the operation aspects of it, what it is like for a company that uses this solution, what kind of, in addition to the monetary and the finance, the investment, what kind of turnaround you see from a employee management and workers perspective?
Oh, I would say anyone that actually uses our solution, whether it may be the actual direct users or even the, let's say, the management level people that see the reporting that sits above it, they appreciate it a lot because of the fact that now things are digitized and it's very easy to get information at the tips of your fingers. You just log into a portal, you see the information. You don't need to call someone to find out. You can check it yourself. And that is one of the benefits we've heard from many people that we've spoken to, because we are also, in addition to developing this customized solution for persons, we provide, let's say, on-hand training for people. And also we sit with them to make sure, they are accustomed to the solution. It's what they want and all of that. So I would say usually people are very pleased with what we offer and our final solution, and even the support that is given after go live of our solutions.
I think that's a really important point that Usha made as well, that, lots of people are quite often overwhelmed by the adoption of technology, but we actually offer managed services as well, so that we can actually help you drive and push that usage. And we quite often see critical mass uptake in about 3 months.
Okay, great. And from a user perspective, from customers' perspective, because I see, Usha, one of your passion is tracking customer satisfaction. How has it been implement after maybe 3-4 months after implementation? What are your customers saying in terms of the end users?
Yeah, the end users are usually very appreciative also because of the fact that the system itself is accessed anywhere, and the fact that everything is now online. Because I will tell you specifically for our installation management module, that was something that is totally digitized, where Emily would have mentioned that people normally have to go to the office, get their jobs. You would have seen that I showed on the mobile itself. They log on in the morning as early as they need to, find everything and start their jobs early. They don't need to spend that extra time to go to the office and come back. And that is one of the benefits we've heard from users themselves, and also people who sit in the office. Just the fact of how our living situation right now with COVID, the fact that you have the ability to stay at home and work, because our solutions generally, you can access online via VPN and such, based on, the agreements with the company and such. So it's really helpful to users right now.
Okay, excellent. So one last question for either of you. I have a little bit of budget. Where do I start? Where would you recommend a small telco start to use your product? Which one of the modules?
Oh, that's a tough one, because it depends so much on what you find, what you're struggling with. But that's why we have Usha. Usha will actually work with our teams and actually sit with our prospects and actually understand where they are struggling the most and where they will derive the most amount of benefit from digitalization. A small amount of budget isn't a concern, especially with year end coming. So there is the option to get started with a little bit of something this year. I don't think Usha's too busy this year. I mean, so we can put a few more things on her plate. And we can get started with something this year and hopefully then build on it next year. But that's what I wheel out Usha for.
Okay. So Usha, Emily, thank you so much for your time this morning. We will circulate this video and we will put it on our YouTube channel. Guest, you did not ask much questions this morning, but I'm sure you have some questions for Emily and Usha. We can facilitate that. We'll also share the list. I just have a little bit of duties before we wrap up. So I want to thank everyone this morning. And I want to remind the audience and Usha and Emily as well, that we have a lovely course that we partnered with Sonova to deliver a telecoms regulatory masterclass, which will begin on November 2nd. It's an 8-part course and it will provide delegates with knowledge of the principles, practices, and real-world use case of telecommunications regulation. It's a perfect opportunity for you to beef up your departments that deal with regulations, or if you just want to refresh or further your knowledge. And we will share a video now that talks about the course in detail. So, Jimmy, can you share? Thank you so much, Jimmy. So that's a course, if you're interested in building. Okay, thank you. So if you're interested in building capacity at your organization, please contact us. There are discounts available to all CANTO members. So that's it for me. Any closing comments from Emily or Usha? You good?
Emily, you're muted. Yeah.
Yes.
Emily, you're muted.
Thank you. Sorry, I needed Jimmy to unmute me. He knows that I have a bit of a tendency to run off. You'll also share our contact details for anyone who may wish to discuss anything further. Yes, please.
Yes, we will. So thank you all. Thank you, Emily, Usha. Thank you to a wonderful audience.
Thank you, Teresa.
Morning.
Thank you.
And stay safe, stay connected with CANTO Conversations. Look out for next CANTO Conversation. Visit us on our website, like and share our post on Facebook and LinkedIn. Thank you all so much.
Thank you very much.
Bye.
Take care. Bye.
Bye.